to be doing 2 webinars. The first webinar is going to focus on online reputation and how to improve your online reputation, prevent negative reviews, and sell more cars. The second webinar is going to be done following this one at 2 o'clock, and that one's going to be how to data mine and leverage all of those unsold leads you've got sitting in your CRM. So my name is Peter Martin. I'm commonly known as the Webdoc. And with me in the studio today is Ron Mad Max, and he is our resident expert on online reputation. Ron, say hello to everybody out there on the webinar.
Hey folks, Ron Max coming at you live.
And today what we're going to talk about is specifically the importance of your online reputation. And folks, online reputation is a critical thing, and today we're going to give you a lot of very good information. At the end of the webinar, you can ask any questions you want to ask simply by typing them in, and we'll be more than happy to answer them. But as we get started, let's dive right into the presentation.
Well, folks, just to let you know, 86% of car shoppers statistically are shopping online first. Now, from my experience, and I was with the Mile One organization here in Baltimore, Maryland, found out that a little bit more than that number actually does go online first. And the average consumer today is spending 16.9 hours online before they even walk into a dealership.
Exactly. And one of the things that's important is, and this is why online reputation is so critical, is that time that they're spent online, they are going out there and looking at review sites. They are looking at what people are saying about your dealership. They really don't care about what people say about your dealership on your website, which we'll talk about a little bit later. They're looking at what people are saying about you on the major review sites. So having a positive reputation definitely affects your sales.
Now, the biggest caveat to all that is the way to prevent negative reviews from going online. If you Google Ron Max at Heritage Volkswagen in Baltimore, you'll see just on cars.com, I think I have 47 reviews in a 9-month period. I've got them all over the place.
Now, I'm going to interrupt for a quick thing. And folks, just to give you an idea of how strong Ron is, if you got any questions about credibility, he has, what, 46 reviews, right?
It's a little bit more than that.
Okay.
That's okay.
46, let's say 46 reviews on cars.com. He has been gone from there for over a year, working with us here at Dealer Influence, and the Mile One organization, the biggest car group in Maryland, has what, 5 or 6 reviews since he's left.
From the same dealership, no question about it. It's just that they forgot the secret sauces they asked for.
Well, you left, that's why. And now we have the secret sauce.
There you go, the secret. Okay, here's your entire secret sauce is they ask for a tip, okay? So if you don't pull anything else away from this webinar today, is make sure you ask for it. You know, that's a real funny thing is I had an experience over the weekend where somebody said I was doing a little side work and helping out a friend, and I asked for a tip. And the woman came to me and said, you know, if you didn't ask for a tip, I would have tipped you too. And I said, you know, ma'am, I've asked 450 people for a tip today, and I've gotten 400 of them. So the bottom line being is if you don't ask for it, you're not going to get it. But let's go ahead and slide back into this presentation because we want to make this time effective for you. I know you're busy. But your last screen that you saw was a not satisfied that actually got submitted through our process. Now, the biggest thing that you have to do with any review that is posted online is to respond to it. So, number one, if it's a negative review, you've got to respond to it. If it's a positive review, you've got to respond to it. So if you pick anything else up from what I'm saying right now, you've got to respond to it. Thank them for their when they're patting you on the back, and also let them know how to get a hold of you online too. Because guess what? As I look at those reviews, my general manager addressed every one of them, okay, and thanked them for giving us the tip, or thanks for giving us the heads up that we needed to improve.
And why that is so important is most of the time, unfortunately, these review sites out there, and I'm not picking on anybody, but we all know all the review sites' names. I don't have to go mention them. But the fact of the matter, for some reason, all of those review sites gravitate to posting negative because I think some of them they think maybe it's made up or whatever, but you'll always find that the negative reviews somehow seem to make it to the top, and that hurts us.
Now, only 4% of unhappy customers are going to go ahead and tell you, and 90% of customers will come back to your dealership if you address their concerns. What we do is we have a process here with Dealer Influence. What we do, and you're going to see this shortly, is we address the not satisfied and give you an opportunity to prevent an online review or a possible negative online review from hitting online, because guess what? You just can't, you have to bury them. You can't get rid of them.
Exactly. So the key here is, like Ron was saying, is you need to monitor your online reputation, you need to listen, but you also have to act. And that's why you're never going to stop a negative review. That's never going to happen. But if you do get a negative review, like Ron was saying, you've got to respond to it. But you also have to be careful when you respond to it not to become adversarial. Because a lot of times what the people are looking at is, yeah, okay, Mr. Jones was unhappy because it got grease on the floor mats of his car when it came in for service. But the dealership contacted them, and they went back in, and they cleaned the grease off the floor mats, and now the customer was happy. And people see that, and they actually respect you because you've taken care of the problem, and they see that you're not one of those dealerships where if somebody's unhappy, they just, stick their head in the sand and ignore it. So that's very important that you do that. What we have found that works real well is by simply following up with the customers after they've been in for sales and for service and asking them for a review.
Well, there's no question about it. Now, I can tell you, as a Volkswagen salesman and also in Chrysler sales as well, Volkswagen was a little bit more difficult than obviously the Chrysler sales process, only because it was a little bit more finicky customer. Now, one thing I also had to do is make sure I was absolutely on top of my game, because guess what? I had a bonus involved in this with my CSI.
Okay.
So I would let them know that the survey is coming. And please, if there's anything that I need to address, if there's anything less than 10s across the board, let's go ahead and find out what I need to address right now. So needless to say, I also prep them. And a good thing with your dealership, too, is should you decide to jump on board, because this is a sales presentation. Don't get it wrong. Okay, if you decide to jump on board, is make sure that your salespeople are letting them know that an email is going to come out asking for a tip.
Exactly. And one of the advantages we found with this whole process is making sure that the email is an HTML web-based email that gives the ability for them to click on the links. There are some companies out there that will, play different games. You need to, when you send out the email, if you notice how the email looks like here, it's got the logo at the top, it's got the video player. We have found that video works really well. Consumers love video. So should we go ahead and just play one?
Sure, let's go ahead and jump right into it.
Hi, I'm Laura with D&D Ford Motors, and we thank you for your business. One of the greatest gifts you could give us is to simply let us know how we're doing. Please click on any one of the review site buttons below and share your experience. If for any reason you are unsatisfied, we want to make it right. Click on the Not Satisfied link below, and we'll follow up with you shortly. Thank you from all of us at D&D Ford Motors.
Now, the important thing is this Not Satisfied button, and it's circled right here. What that does is gives the opportunity for your unsatisfied client, sales or service, to click on that Not Satisfied button, which will take them to a separate landing page, take them away from those review sites so they can vent. Now, it could be as simple as you weren't timely with my appointment. You said I'd be in it at 10 o'clock, and I showed up at 9:30. You didn't get me until 11 o'clock. It's out there. Guess what? Most of the Not Satisfied submissions that we see are just because there's communication breakdown. It's because somebody dropped the ball on the services end to make sure the customer was not notified exact process. So needless to say, that Not Satisfied is going to take you to a separate landing page.
And that's important. Here's a couple examples, and these are just some of the bad ones. But the fact of the matter is, when somebody clicks on the Not Satisfied button, they're now venting that upset, whatever they're upset about, privately communicating with you. One of the things that I'm very proud of saying is, since we've been doing this, we have not had one person who filled out the Not Satisfied form and vented their frustration that then went back and put negative reviews on any of the review sites.
As long as the dealership responded to it.
And that's been the key. So we have been very successful in preventing those negative reviews from getting published, because like we said earlier, once a review is published, it's almost impossible. We have seen 1 or 2 times where it's been able to be removed. We've had a couple where we've been able to go in there for the client and dispute it because we were able to show Yelp that it was actually a fraudulent review, and we've been able to get that taken off. So, but that's a very hard thing to do and very time-consuming. So it's important that you do everything you can to proactively prevent those negative reviews. So what we provide as part of our service is we literally every night we are sending out emails to your sold customers and your service customer. Now, we don't do it every single night, and I'll explain now why we don't do that. We found that sending them out on a Friday is actually damaging because, you know, on the weekends you're busy and most dealerships are closed on a Sunday. So we target during the week. We also don't like to send them out on Mondays because Mondays are not a good day because it's the beginning of the week. We want to make sure that when we send out these emails, we want to make sure that when somebody does click on that satisfied, you have people that are available to respond to those people in a timely fashion. So we target it, you know, and we work with you at your dealership and we coordinate when you want us to be sending those out for you. But we try to send them out within 3 to 5 days of them being in your dealership.
Now, 72% of car buyers are influenced by online dealership reviews, and it has been my experience personally in Baltimore. I had a gentleman call me up from Connecticut asking me questions about Chryslers when I was a new car Chrysler salesperson because he saw my online reviews. And that's encouraging, and also it's a little bit of an ego stroke when somebody will reach out to you that far and say, I saw your online reviews and you're the guy I want to work with. Yes, he did.
He did?
Yeah,
all right. Well, good for you.
He did. I tell you what,
you had to go by a lot of Chrysler dealerships to get to Maryland.
Well, there's no question about that. I tell you, my longest delivery has been a little bit over 300 miles when I was working with Heritage. But needless to say, there's also some big things here. Is number one is the making sure that these emails are delivered.
And I will point this out while we're on this topic. Ron is not available for hire, so if you cannot call him up after the webinar and try and hire him away from Dealer Influence. You'll be banned from future webinars. So we did have somebody call up after the last webinar asking Ron if he wanted a job. So please don't call him up and try and steal him. He's too valuable to us.
Folks, my information will be at the end of the PowerPoint, and I go to the highest bidder on the original computer. Anyway, if you can't have fun, there's no sense in going ahead and doing this. But why don't you take this one, Pete?
Okay. The reason why this program is so successful, and I'm going to take a second to kind of give you a little sales pitch on why it's successful. Cactus Guy, as you know, is the parent company of Dealer Influence, and we are known in the auto industry as the premier email marketing company. Most of the major players out there utilize our services for their mass email marketing because we have a unique ability to deliver the emails past the spam filters. And why that's important is when you look at your data and you pull your database out of your DMS, you're going to look at your data. You're going to find out that your customer email addresses are comprised of 3 major emails: Outlook, Gmail, and Yahoo. Those are the hardest inboxes to get past the spam filters. And that's where we provide some unique ability of delivering those emails. The other piece of the puzzle is we also focus on making sure that those emails are mobile enabled. Because unfortunately, on one case, unfortunately, 66% of consumers are reading their emails on a mobile device. And that's why when we send out an email, we have to ensure that it's mobile enabled, especially because we're asking for reviews.
Now, what's the easy way to tell if an email is mobile enabled or not is, number one, is it easy to read? And now I have an iPhone 5. I've got an antique. I know I've got to move up to 6. I'm a dinosaur. I had a 4 when I started here, and Peter threw me out of the office until I got a better phone. But needless to say, this is an example of a mobile responsive email. The print's hard to read. You have to pinch and zoom. So as you're looking at your phone right now, that's no more than 3 feet away from you. And this is the important thing. Most folks won't go anywhere without their cell phone on them. So if you look at an email and you have to pinch and zoom in, it's not mobile enabled. If it's not easily formatted, now this is an example of a mobile enabled email. Real easy to read. You can press the button to play the video. very easy to navigate, and 78% of consumers are going to delete an email that is not adapted to their mobile device.
And that's very powerful, because one of the challenges that you're facing today is with Yelp. And one of the nice things about having a mobile-enabled email is they can easily click on the link for Yelp if they're a Yelper and actually go and leave your review on Yelp, which is very important. And why this is all important, how this really affects your bottom line in the car business and selling more cars, is Google is the 500-pound gorilla, and they are looking at your online reputation and how it incorporates into their ranking algorithms. If you have a bad online reputation, just like if your website, we recently found if your website is not mobile enabled, it's also going to negatively affect you and prevent you from being on page 1 of Google.
Well, if you're not on page 1, you're in trouble. And I can tell you from Talladega Nights, if you're not first, you're last. But anyway, it's real important that you also claim all the top review sites: Yelp, Google, City Search, Yellow Pages, Yahoo, Facebook, the whole 9 yards. And it is imperative that you do that, because 22% of business information is incorrect online.
And what I would recommend, you might want to just take a note on this one, and feel free afterwards, if you'd like us to send you a copy of the PowerPoint, we're more than happy to do that. No cost, no obligation, we'll give it to you. But if you go to our website, which is, we have 2 of them, we have eRep Builder, there's actually a gold link at the top, and you can click on there, and it doesn't cost you anything, and you put in your business information, your dealership address, phone number, and it will actually run a report for you right then and there. You don't have to pay for anything. It will actually, you can print it out yourself, and you can see all of your listings, where there are mistakes, and what needs to be corrected. And unfortunately, we're finding, on average, most dealerships have anywhere from 70, and some of them I saw one as high as 142 mistakes. Whether the phone number was wrong or the address was wrong. We actually had one that was quite interesting. The dealer bought this dealership 3 years prior, and on Bing, it actually had the old dealership's name listed still. It never was updated on Bing, and Bing's, one of the bigger sites.
I've seen that more than once.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's some statistics here about reviews matter. 51% of auto shoppers use their mobile device to look up price, payments, and offers. I believe the number's a little bit higher. 29% research inventory on a mobile device. Now, that's a question to you. Is your website mobile responsive? Because if it isn't, guess what? You're going to get a disconnect when that shopper tries to hit your website. So it's really important that you have that.
Now, we're gonna take 1 second, because I want to point something out that's very important. A lot of dealers we're talking to are telling us, yes, we have a mobile responsive website. Well, here's the thing you need to check, and I'm not trying to cause any problems with your web developers. You need to look. Your front page may be mobile, adaptive, or responsive, whatever term they want to call it. But your vehicle display pages, what I'm finding is more than half the time when I go look at vehicle display pages, those are not mobile responsive. The front page of the website is, but when somebody clicks on View My Inventory, they go to the vehicle display pages, those are not mobile responsive. And that is a big problem, because if I'm sitting there on my mobile phone and I want to go look at that new Ford F-150 and I click on it and I lose it, it's a problem. So take a look at that. I know I digressed a little bit, but I thought it was an important point to make out.
There's no question about it. If it isn't mobile enabled, you're wasting your time. Now, here's a 4-letter word in the review industry. It's exclamation point, asterisk, exclamation point, question mark. All right, it's Yelp. I tell you what, if anybody is scratching their head on how to get their Yelp reviews posted, there's some secret sauce here. Now, Yelp is connected to Siri, so if you get into Yelp and you'll say Google Chrysler dealerships
near my location,
they're going to come back with us. So that's why your online listings are so important. And over half of smartphone users have an iPhone. So make sure that you're there. Now, Yelp will also, you have to claim your page, but Yelp will hit you up for advertising money. If not, they're going to post your competitors on your page.
And one of the things that we tell our clients is this. I know it feels like extortion, and it is, okay? As you start getting more reviews on Yelp, and as we start helping you get more reviews on Yelp, all of a sudden, you're now going to get on Yelp's radar, and you're going to get a call from one of the Yelp salespeople. And they are going to call you up, and they're going to tell you that they want you to advertise. And it has happened, I don't know how it happened, it's kind of one of those miracles out there, but if you say no, the next morning when you go check Yelp, somehow all of your good reviews are gone. We don't know how it happens, but unfortunately, folks, they do. Now, everybody wants to sue them and do this and do that. My suggestion, my recommendation is this. Pay them something, even if it's a small couple $100s a month. When you're on the phone with them, say, hey, I have a very small budget. This is my internet budget. They will work with you. They just want to get something from you. So if you get give them a small little budget, it will prevent them from shutting off and taking down all of your positive reviews. I know that sounds horrible, and you're probably saying, I can't believe that it's happening. But, folks, our job here is to educate you and tell you the truth and tell you what we found. So that is our recommendation. I know it's a ugly pill to swallow, but it's something that you need to know.
Now, number one, first and foremost, power of women. 78% of service customers are women. Women are 3 times more likely to post a review as opposed to men. So if you're not advertising and taking care of your female customer or your female clientele, you're in trouble, because I tell you what, they research reviews, they leave reviews. If they're treated properly, they will tell everybody.
And unfortunately today, online reviews have become like the word of mouth. People trust them as much as a personal recommendation. So our recommendation is, if you want to be successful with this online reputation process, you need to step up to the plate. It's really that simple. Using interactive HTML, where you're sending the emails out and people can immediately respond and leave a review, or most importantly, have an opportunity to complain to you first. Now at this point, we're putting up our information. There's our phone number, apologize, we'll give you our information as well, but you can call us at this number. That's our Maryland office number. And at this point, what I want to do is I want to open up the floor. We do have some questions that have come in.
Now, if you need to get a hold of me, or you want a copy of the PowerPoint, feel free to email me at ron@cactusguydigital.com. That's ron@cactusguydigital.com. ron@cactusguydigital.com. Now, Cactus Guy has 2 S's. cactusguydigital.com. My cell phone number is 443-841-9809. That's 443-841-9809. You can catch us on the website. You can catch us in the office here too. If you have any questions. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give you one tip.
Okay.
Now, I wish I knew this a year ago when I was selling cars. Does anybody out there know how to make a review Googleable? I'm going to tell you right now that if you don't pick anything else up from this presentation, here's another gem for you. Do this. Google #RonMadMax. If you do that, you'll see my reviews that I've left for other establishments, my dentist, restaurants that I go to. If you're a Chinese buffet, you're not going to get a good review from me. But just about anywhere else, I'm a 4 or 5 star guy, because guess what? I've learned how to become a Yelper. I've had to try to master what's going on with Yelp. You have to do that. Now, circling back to Yelp. So number one, if you have a salesperson that is getting a review, make sure they use a hashtag and your dealership. Hashtag Avalon Honda. Hashtag Heritage Toyota. Hashtag Timonium Chrysler Jeep. Whatever, and guess what? It'll become Googleable. So when somebody Googles Chrysler dealerships or Timonium Chrysler Jeep, that'll come up with the reviews. Great way to do that. So also, here's another tip for you. I'm going to throw out a couple gems to you. Yelp. Secret with Yelp. Your customers have to check in. If they don't check in when they hit the dealership, you don't have some some point of purchase display material saying we value Yelpers. If they check in, the chances of that review making it online is far greater than somebody just trying to post a review and checking it remotely. Okay, once again, Siri is GPS based.
It's connected, yeah. Now, just give you a little deeper drive on that, because one of the things we do for our clients is we help them with the POP material, and what we found is we put a little process in place at the dealership, because when somebody checks in on Yelp, let's say a woman is in for service and she's waiting for her car and she checks in on Yelp because she sees the little thing. We've designed coupons. So it'll pop a little coupon. So if you are a Yelper, you'll understand this, because whenever you check in, a lot of times if you're in a restaurant, it'll pop it, but it'll give you a coupon. Show this coupon and get a free dessert, or show this coupon and get a free appetizer, or whatever it is. We do the same thing. It's like a pops up little coupon says, show this to the cashier and get a complimentary safety inspection, or a complimentary this, or whatever you want to give away. But what's important is you got somebody who is in service right then and there. They're in the waiting lounge. Now they have to walk up to the cashier and show the cashier the phone. So now you should be on high alert. And the cashier should say, thank you very much, and immediately go tell the service manager. So now you know that you've got a customer who's already taken step one in getting a review by checking in. And you need to make sure that that customer gets moved to the front of the line. She gets handled with kid gloves. And I even recommend that when they're picking up their car, the manager walks out and personally thanks them, and reminds them about leaving a review. You want to, because let's face it, if you know somebody's going to leave you a review, make sure you take special care of that person. And we have found that that works extremely well. And we've seen one of our clients, didn't you tell me the other day, one of our clients is now like a 4-point or a 5-point review on Yelp?
Oh, there's no question about it. I don't want to disclose the client, but needless to say, they went from 2.5 and we got them all the way up to, they're about 4.7 now. So
4.7.
Yeah,
huge,
that's really
huge.
good.
In 6 months.
Yeah, no question.
Doesn't happen overnight. Takes a little time.
Well, you've got to ask for the reviews, Pete. And if you're not asking for them, that's a problem. Now, listen. Here's one more. Here's my last bonus tip for you. Guess what? We sell a lot of cars to friends and families. Okay, we bend over backwards for them. We go ahead and drop our pants.
Mm-hmm.
We show ours before they show theirs. Okay, and there's a constant thing of us bending over backwards for them. Guess what? There's called a give-get close, which means if you're going to give something, you got to get something in return. So guess what? You have to capture from friends and family all their online reviews. Do you think your family is going to give you a bad online review? Okay, you've got to capture those. They're going to bring your scores up. Okay, so friends as well. Now, the one person that I wouldn't go after is the person that absolutely beats you to death on a deal. Because guess what? They're not going to be happy with anything. They're not going to be happy with the way they were treated, the way the car was delivered to them, or the time process that's involved. So those people, I try to stay away from the reviews and just ask for the CSI stuff. Now, here's a quick question. What does this cost? Okay, my question is to you is what would it be worth it to you to keep a bad online review posted? Now, if you're looking at this webinar, you may have an issue with your online reputation. Here's the question you have. Do you have a stellar online reputation and want to protect it? Okay, or is your online reputation a little bit marginal and you want to go ahead and improve it? Either way, you have to have an online reputation strategy in place to go where you need to go. Now, here's the deal. Normally, dealer influence is a $5.95 and a $5.95 setup fee, and a $5.95 a month service fee. Now, what we're doing for the end of June is we're reducing that. Okay, I've had dealers tell me I'd pay $1,000 to take that one review down. Okay, well, guess what? You got to be proactive than reactive. What we're going to do for you is, in June only, we're going to reduce that to $2.95 a month setup fee because we have to build the video, we have to link it up, we've got to set up the not satisfied buttons, we have to go ahead and get your online
forms,
we have to
build a YouTube channel.
Yep, there's no question. We're going to be doing a bunch of different things in the setup process for you, and it's $2.95 to deploy. So, needless to say, we'll go ahead and do that for $2.95 a month, $2.95 setup fee. I can tell you in the long run, to prevent the negative reviews, this is so important. You'll also be able to track what's going on in your dealership between your sales and your service department. You can see a consistent pattern of if somebody is not doing what they should be doing in the sales department or the service department. You'll be able to see breakdowns in process and communication along the way. I strongly recommend that you act one way or the other. Feel free to reach out to me. Once again, it's Ron at CactusGuyDigital.com. That's Ron at CactusGuyDigital.com. Once again, Ron at CactusGuyDigital.com. Phone number is 443-841-9809. There's a lot of things that we can go ahead and do for you. We can get your review site listings uniform across the board, and this is just going to the dealer influence page. This is an example of some
and what Ron was talking about too, I want to share with you real quick is one of the questions that came across as I pulled this up on the screen was somebody asked a question, and I want to make sure we answer that because it's just popped up, is what are the best review sites and the most important review sites to focus on? Our opinion is the single most important review site is Google+. That has got to be across the board the most important because Google+ affects your SEO and whether or not you're on page 1 of Google. So if you are looking at your online reputation as whether or not it's going to help you sell cars, Google+ is the most important. The second one is Yelp. Okay, Yelp is very important. The third one is, up for grabs. I mean, which one do you like, Ron? For the
personally, Cars.com was very good to me. There's also Facebook is great. You can do a lot of organic stuff off of Facebook, and needless to say, all of them are very good sites. Cars.com, Facebook, Yelp, but Google is definitely the most important.
Now, what I'm showing you here on the screen right now, this is an example of one of our clients, and not picking on anybody, I just pulled one up. But you can see all of these are not satisfied that came across, okay? And you could look at them all, but look at all of them that came across. There's 117 of them, okay? We prevented 117 of these, and many of them are negative reviews from being published because they came directly to the dealer, and the dealer had an opportunity to deal with these customers on a one-to-one basis. So I just wanted to show you an idea, an example of how this works. You'll get these via email. They'll send them directly to you, and I always recommend, because Ron gets a copy of them, I get a copy of them. A copy gets loaded onto this page right here where it's password protected so people can't see it. Only you'll have access to it. And I recommend it goes to your service manager and your sales manager or general manager. That way you can see and know what's going on, and you can all work together as part of having a online reputation strategy. And that's one of the things that we find is very important.
Needless to say, folks, please give us a call if there's anything that we can go ahead and do. We've held you hostage a little bit too long, a little bit longer than I'd like to today. I know it's the middle of the month. June is a great month. I know everybody's recovering a little bit from last month in the big push, April and May. Now here's June. We're going into the summer months. Let's go ahead and build your online reviews. Feel free to reach out to us again. The office number is 410-296-2343. You know how to get a hold of me. If there's anything else we can do for you, please reach out to us at your earliest convenience.
Have a wonderful day, and thank you for all your time. And once again, have a great day.
Alrighty.